Back in the ancient days, I'm talking about modern times, ancient days, maybe even about 50 years back, sometimes people would brag about how much they spend, how mindlessly they spend it, and they don't keep any track at all of what they're spending on because they think it wasn't cool or they think it's status symbol. I don't know, whatever, ego trip. I don't know. Some people are just very, very, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Boastful. This is the way it used to be. It's not the way it is today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on my channel, the Save Money and More channel with Jan channel. Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes I talk about money. Most of the time, yes. Sometimes I talk about and more. Today seems to be a little bit of a mixed breed because I think the way people used to think was ridiculous sometimes, like bragging about how much you spend and yeah, I lost a ton of money on that, almost as if bragging. I'm like, so where's the part that we should be proud of on that one? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, isn't it great that these days that we have the tools? Okay, maybe back then we didn't have as many tools. Well, definitely. What am I saying? Maybe. Definitely back in the good old days, we didn't have that many tools like we do today. I'll give you an example. Not long ago, I did a show discussing the actual prices of some Thanksgiving Day trim. Some people think that was a smart idea to be able to get an earful of those prices. I don't know if others didn't. Maybe I don't know. Remember, keep in mind, depends on location too. It does affect where you live. It does affect the prices. Some people maybe say yes, some people say no. I'm just telling you the prices I know because I mentioned prices of certain items, specific brand names specifically. And then I would go, let's say, view another video where I would get the exact same product, exact same amount of that product, and the people were able to purchase it at their local Dollar Tree, well, $1.25, which is still not a bad deal. Because some of those prices that I mentioned last week were a little bit steeper, but that's the prices that I was able to locate in this area, the tri-state area. So, which includes New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Okay, so up in the Northeast, that's where things lie as far as price wise. But getting back to a different question, is it important to be mindful of the prices, or at least in general? We're not going to memorize every single price of every single merchandise as we walk down the aisle. No, no, we're not. But we're going to have an eyeball of it. This is how one can make plans for their frugal lifestyle. Okay. This is how people get to hit savings goals because they know in advance what they're doing. There's a lot to be said about planning. Okay. To me, a goal without a plan is simply what? A wish. A goal without a plan is simply just that, a wish. All right. And I'm always mindful. I like to be mindful of everything. Example, I like to be mindful of the fact that there may be somebody out there, maybe one or two at the moment, whenever somebody clicks on this video. There's a reason why people click on frugal videos. Some people click on for brand new ideas or things they never heard of or things they never would have done ever in their life before. I'll give you an example. I know someone that used to bake up a big old, big, pretty big turkey, and that person like didn't have a lot of people in their household every year most of the time. Then that person realized, hey, wait a minute, it's a great idea. I had mentioned this once or twice. Well, get the bigger turkey, right, at the better price, right, because this is the time to do it, about 1 week to 10 days before Thanksgiving. Be on the lookout. You're going to get your better prices at that point. And then what you do is either you roast the whole thing and carve it in half, easy peasy, or you carve it in half when it's not cooked yet, which whatever way you decide that works best for you. Wrap up the second half, okay, and put it away. Wrap it really, really good. I like to do that. For example, if I bake a whole turkey, I like to wrap up the second half for Christmas so that I have turkey again on Christmas. Okay. If you don't have a terribly large household, that's actually the best thing you could do. Or you could take the second half of it, cut it up, the cooked parts, cut it up in advance into smaller parts, wrap extremely well, and freeze. It is already done. All you have to do is heat it up for whatever thing you decide to make, turkey croquettes or just turkey again with gravy or whatever, turkey soup. You see where I'm going with this. This is what being mindful is. Okay, you just gave it when you cut that big old bird in half, literally, you just gave yourself, guess what? A 50% discount. So if you bought that big old turkey on sale at a great price, at a low price, and then you further cut it down and stretch it longer, because I'm telling you, you get a lot out of those turkeys. You have really given yourself a huge discount because sometimes you just don't want to have that big old thing just hanging around and getting sour. Here is a big mistake. Let's talk about mindfulness when it comes to after the fact. On Thanksgiving night, okay, might be a little tired. All right, I get that. But don't go past Black Friday morning to do the following. Maybe when you have a little rest overnight, you sit down, go back to that original turkey right away, unless you have the energy on that evening, okay? And clean off that bird and cut it into packages and immediately put the leftovers in the freezer. Keep some down. I know after Black Friday shopping, you might be a little hungry, or before you leave for Black Friday shopping at the mall. Hopefully no one goes into a stampede getting in and out. I'm just saying, make sure you eat a nice, filling meal. So you could, slap yourself another sandwich from the day before's leftovers, which nobody ever seems to mind having turkey dinner leftovers the very first time, right? That's the fun part. And then after that, so you are not like living on turkey every single day for a week straight. No, 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 no. But if you time it right, wrap up everything, label it, maybe you'll just remember, hey, this was from Thanksgiving. So wrap up packages. Do you realize how many meals, future meals, that you're going to be saving money on? This is part, okay, this is part of being mindful. The other mindful thing is that, for example, we have a frugal community here. Why would you be here if you're not interested in frugality or at least curious about frugality or whatever? All right. This is what I'm just saying. Okay. Uh, so I say to myself, I think it's really important that everybody respects each other. Some people have the means to live more of a who could care less about money life, and some people really need to watch every penny until their desired situation is achieved, because after all, we are all learning. Okay, we are all learning. The learning never stops. Sometimes people think once they get their diploma from certain institutions. Okay, they get their diploma, their acknowledgement. Oh, you achieved this goal. You have satisfactorily completed X number of years at XYZ University. Okay, well, there's a university that no one ever seems to get a certificate for, and it's called real life. Okay, so in real life, some of the things that I know now, sure, I did not know 30, 40 years ago. Experience is the best teacher. And in my experience as as literally a professional educator, besides the fact that I like to yak on YouTube, I have learned one thing: be a quiet observer. Be a quiet observer and not too fast, not so fast to be a quick commenter. Sometimes it's better to just keep our emotions and feelings to ourselves. This is my opinion. Some might agree, some might not agree. That's okay. That's what makes life. But I know one thing for sure. If you aren't curious about learning about saving money or about living a frugal life, then why on earth would you even be listening?